too.
Hours ago saying that Heeseung from Enhypen will be leaving the group to... Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to a new video on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about the news that came out a few hours ago saying that Heeseung from Enhypen will be leaving the group to start a solo career. There are a lot of things to talk about, so let's get started. Enhypen is a group that came out of the survival show Island, which created the 7-member lineup that we know today. Heeseung stood out a lot during the show, placing first in several missions and constantly being seen as one of the most talented contestants. Because not only can he sing like an angel, but he was also one of the best dancers, and if you need him to rap, he can rap too. In fact, there were even rumors that Island was basically built knowing that Heeseung would debut 100%, and that they were mainly searching for the other members who would debut alongside him. In the final ranking, he placed 5th, and among his qualities, people also pointed out his leadership skills, so a lot of fans thought he would end up being the leader of Enhypen. However, when the members discussed together who should take that position, they decided that the role would be better for Youngwon. Despite that, you can still see that Heeseung has an informal leadership role in the group, since he is the oldest and often takes care of the other members. Enhypen debuted in 2020 with Given Taken. And during these 6 years, they've had many successful releases, which is why today the group is considered one of the strongest groups of their generation. But unfortunately today, we woke up to the news that Heeseung would be leaving the group. The first thing that appeared was a letter from Lift Lab, the company that manages the group, which said the following. Lift Lab has given much thought and consideration into Enhypen's future direction and goals. Through in-depth discussions with each of the members about the future they envision and the direction of the team, it became clear that Heeseung has his own distinct musical vision, and we have decided to respect it. As such, Heeseung will be parting ways with Enhypen, and Enhypen will continue official activities henceforth as a group of 6 members. It's difficult to relay the whole process through a short notice, but this decision comes after extensive deliberation. We understand that this news is a lot to process and may be received with mixed reactions. Nevertheless, we hope you understand that this decision was made for the future of Enhypen and Heeseung. Enhypen remains committed to sharing energetic performances with Enhypen. Heeseung will be preparing a solo album as an artist under Lift Lab. For his part, Heeseung posted a letter that said, "Hello, I'm Heeseung. First of all, I'm sure many Enjeans were surprised to hear my news, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are curious about the sudden story. So I wanted to tell Enjeans in person. For me, these 6 years were a time filled with moments that were overwhelming and precious beyond words. Thanks to the members who shared countless emotions and Enjeans who always filled the vacancy, I was able to approach my dream step by step that I felt I could not reach. And that time will be one of those shining moments that will never be forgotten by me in the future. I don't want to forget those moments, and I want to be the one who continues to support Enhypen more than anyone else. I shared the results of my work with the company, and talked with many people for a long time about how to show them. After thinking about it for a long time, I made a big decision to approach Enhypen in a better way, according to the direction the company suggested. Enhypen, as you all know, I've been working on my personal work, and I've spent a lot of time hopping to show it to the Enhypen. There were a lot of things I wanted to show, but I also didn't want to put my greed ahead of the team. I am well aware of your concerns and various stories. I will prepare hard to meet you again as soon as possible. The desire to come back with a better appearance is more sincere than anyone else. As it was an engine that always gave me constant love and affection for me, I feel sorry for knowing the feelings of surprise and concern. I think that's how much you care about me, and I will be the one who runs with what Enhypen have given us so far in mind. thank you and I love you. These statements are very revealing, and they actually let us see what really happened, even more than what they initially tell us. The first thing we notice is that Enhypen as a group and Heeseung seem to have different musical visions, and that's something you can clearly see because Enhypen has been leaning more into rougher and heavier concepts, where the vocals don't stand out as much. In fact, in their latest song Knife, Heeseung basically has one verse and the repetition of It's a Knife. And that might be because his voice doesn't shine as much in this kind of track. There are even newer fans of Enhypen who don't even realize how angelic his voice actually is, and they have to go search for covers like his version of Off My Face, just to see what he's capable of. So the reality is that Enhypen is moving in a direction where Heeseung doesn't really stand out, and the question becomes, would you keep an ace like Heeseung in a group where he can't fully shine? There's also the question of whether this type of sound and concept for Enhypen is something permanent, because we've seen the group go through several phases and experiment with many different concepts. Not that long ago they released Sweet Venom and Bite Me, songs that suit the whole group really well, but I guess these heavier tracks are the direction most of the members feel comfortable with and want to continue with, and maybe Heeseung is the only one who isn't fully convinced. There's also the question of who actually made this decision, because the letters say one thing but the fans are pointing fingers somewhere else. Heeseung said, I made a big decision according to the direction the company suggested. He didn't say the company made the decision, he said he made it. What I personally think happened is that Heeseung started realizing that what he wanted to do, and the direction of the group was slowly drifting apart, and the company may have thought about debuting him as a soloist instead. Maybe they proposed that path, and after thinking about it a lot he accepted. That's what I understand from the letters, that it was a mutual decision. But the fans are not happy and many are blaming Lift Lab for kicking Heeseung out. I personally don't think they kicked him out, because looking at the group right now it's clear that Heeseung can't fully use his potential there. But this also raises another question. Why not debut as a soloist while still being part of the group? There are a lot of unknowns here, because every theory I have can easily be countered with another option that doesn't involve kicking him out of the group. For example, solo careers take a lot of time, and the group would have to be on a break for a few months so Heeseung could prepare his debut. But this is something that has always been done. Any third generation or even fourth generation group you can think of has had some members debut solo without it negatively affecting the group. Also, if we look at Enhypen's comebacks, there's usually between 8 and 10 months of difference, enough time to release solo projects without overworking the artists, which is something nobody wants. But maybe Heeseung simply didn't want to continue with the group. And in my opinion, that's not selfish. In the end, he must care a lot about his members. But if he no longer feels comfortable, why force him to stay when he can shine somewhere else? It could also be that the company thinks there isn't enough time and that Heeseung would have too many activities to handle both projects, which makes me see this as a really ambitious move, because we know Heeseung is going to succeed as a soloist. He has everything to do it, but hasn't done it yet. The safest way would be to debut while still in the group, and if he meets the expectations of the fans and the company, then leave the group, because what happens if he fails now? Or the song doesn't do as well as they expect? Heeseung would be left with neither a solo nor a group career. It's a very risky step that I think they only took because they must be really confident about what they're doing. And a lot of people are now hatting on Lift Lab, saying that Enhypen is 7 or nothing. They're even reposting tweets that say Lift Lab, retract your statement. Let Heeseung do solo activities while being an Enhypen member. Treat Heeseung better. Enhypen is 7, come back Heeseung, Enhypen home. And I agree that Heeseung is an essential piece for the group, he's my bias. But being realistic, the company wants money. If this really harmed the group or Heeseung that much, they simply wouldn't have done it. And what I feel fans don't want to see is that maybe this is what Heeseung decided. It wouldn't make sense for Lift, having a group that works with numbers, fans, and a huge career ahead, to force a member to leave if he didn't want to. Maybe it's happened before, but it's not the most logical thing. This situation is really tough for fans because it's not easy at all. But if it's what Heeseung wanted, it's the best option for him. Fans highlight the part that says, according to the direction the company suggested, to say he's being forced, but they ignore the full sentence where he says, I made a big decision. Also, if he were being forced, you wouldn't see anything in the letter indicating it. These letters are analysed hundreds of times to say exactly what they want us to know. We also don't know how long this has been discussed. I hope they studied it carefully and have been planning it for months. But on the other hand, Heeseung and the group didn't seem to expect this. They seemed like always. And also the Enhypen World merchandising has been delayed, and just 2 days ago they had dance calls where Heeseung talked about future plans with the group, which could indicate this decision was made recently. There is also talk that Youngwon was given clues, but I suppose we will never know if he was referring to this.
I really wish this moment could last forever. I don't usually think like this, but personally, I feel like Enhypen as a team is on such a good path right now. So later on, when I look back at the past, I think I'll remember this moment. That's why I kind of want to stop time right now and stay here. Let's stay together forever. Everyone. Nothing lasts forever. There is no such thing as forever, but I'll work even harder. Because for me, the present moment is always the most important. I've been well. I've been organizing my thoughts and doing well. I may not be able to keep you from being sad, but I can make you happy, everyone. Sound like a song.
And this has been all. I hope.
At this point, I'm numb. What's going on? This is the third month. This is the third month, y'all, of this brand new year. Last month it was Mano. This month is Heeseung. Next month it's J Hope. Month after that, it's Momo from Twice. It's just at this point, I'm just numb. But Enhypen, I don't know their future. It's probably gonna be a little shaky. Cause it was different from the time when Stray Kids had that one member. He was in there, but he left. Stray Kids thrived, but I think he left early on. But this is Enhypen we talk about. Enhypen without Heeseung is like peanut butter without the jelly. Noodles with no packet. Water with no cup. Hands. Water, no H2O. Just H. Paint with no walls. Fruit with no seeds. Car with no gas. Nothing. Crayola without the Ola. Just Cray. It don't make no sense. I don't know how they gonna do this, y'all. Heeseung, this is not what I was expecting. And I just reacted to a TikTok compilation on my main channel. And you telling me Heeseung, the one, he was my bias in the group. He was the first one. If y'all watch my videos from that time, y'all already know my relationship, how I felt about Heeseung. And he out the group now. Who next? Sunu? Sunu? At this point, I'm numb. I'm very numb. I don't feel nothing. This is disappointing though, cause I don't know if the group. How can you go on without Heeseung, bro? I really don't want the group to fall apart, to not still thrive. But it ain't gonna make sense, y'all. I just gotta be real. It ain't gonna make sense without Heeseung. Heeseung, he. You used to come see me. I used to talk through the videos, Adam. Now he ain't gonna be in the videos or nothing. And that is kind of weird. If he left the group for a solo career, why he couldn't be solo and be in the group? Usually that happens. the group, you know, like BTS. BTS still a group, but they had their own solo projects. Why he can't just have a solo project? I see why it's conspiracies and stuff like that, but y'all, I ain't got nothing to say about this. This is disappointing. At this point, you can only just sit back and watch what's gonna happen to Enhypen, because I don't see how they gonna do this without that boy. You know, do you know how big Heeseung is part of this group? That's just like Sun New leaving. Or Sung Hoon. Imagine if Sung Hoon left. Jay. Imagine if it was Jake. It's the same thing. You can't have one without the other. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do this, y'all. But I'm already done with this year. This is the third month. I'm already done with the year. Last month, y'all played in my face with Mano. Now this month, y'all playing with Heeseung in my face. Who next? Who next? At this point, if y'all want me to come back to the internet, just say that. Because who I'm finna be reacting to, it ain't gonna be no groups. It ain't gonna be no members. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Grapes with no stem. Look. I can't. Milk, no dairy. Soda, no suds. Just juice. Just syrup. Soda without the subs is syrup. That bad taste, you know, when it get flat. That's what this is. The soda when it go flat. This how it's been these past 3 months. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. I'm gonna see y'all in my next video. Might as well rewatch all my old Enhypen videos. Ain't nothing I'm gonna have to react to no more. Y'all know, if y'all some OG supporters, y'all know I started my channel with Enhypen after Astro. They were the first group after Astro I reacted to. Literally the first group after Astro. It was Enhypen when they first came out. So I know it's a lot of Engines, especially my black Engine queens. I know y'all mad. I know y'all upset. I know y'all hurt. Y'all know y'all hurt because y'all know how deep Heeseung was with us and with everybody. And y'all just want us to act like he ain't there. Same thing with Mano. Y'all want to act like Mano ain't there. Heeseung is the Mano of Enhypen, literally. So all the Manos of the groups gonna leave. I don't even trust it no more, y'all. That's how I really feel. I don't trust nothing no more. I don't trust nothing no more. What else finna happen? It's the third month of the year, y'all. Third. We ain't even in half the year yet, and it's already craziness after craziness with these companies and with the world. I ain't got nothing to say though, but I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know if I could watch Enhypen without Heeseung. To support, of course, but it's just not gonna be the same. I can't even lie. I don't know what. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. I can't even say that no more. There go Hee. For what? He ain't gonna be there.